Hello and welcome to LinkedIn Unleashed, Supercharge Your Career Success. My name is Jennifer Bongora and I am Nexford University's Director of Career Innovation. We are so excited to have you joining us today to learn more about how LinkedIn can really help you advance in your career. Whatever your goal is, whether it's to pivot or promote, you are in the right place. We're really excited to have Ryan Murray and Promise Hassan here, who are two Nexford University alumni who are going to share their firsthand experience on how LinkedIn has helped them in their careers. In addition to some really detailed information about what you can really do to help you make the most of LinkedIn. So welcome to everyone who's joining. We are just so excited to have you here. Little housekeeping before we get started. Please, if you have questions that come up, use that Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. The chat gets kind of busy and overwhelming, so we want to make sure we have all of our questions in the Q&A. You will receive a copy of the presentation in addition to the recording. So welcome to everyone who's joining. Miriam, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for your message. We'll go ahead and jump in. So here is a brief overview of what we're going to cover during this webinar. We'll do some introductions, talk about why LinkedIn really matters. Clearly, you have signed up for this webinar, you've joined, you must think LinkedIn matters, but we're going to just give a little bit more information about why it actually does. Talk about building an effective LinkedIn profile, give you some networking strategies that you can use, talk about job searches and career opportunities. And then we really want to spend a lot of time with our alumni, Ryan and Promise, talking about their success stories and how they have used LinkedIn in their careers. So here we go. Brief introductions. I'll do it and just say our names and titles of our guests, and then when we introduce them in just a bit, they will share more about their story and how they, again, have used LinkedIn thus far in their careers. So my name is Jennifer Bongora. I'm Nexford University's Director of Career Innovation. We are really thrilled to have our alumni here, Ryan Murray, who's a Customer Relations Manager and an MBA alumni, and Promise Hassan, who works in Maintenance and Asset Reliability, Project Engineering and Management, and is also an MBA alumni. We want to spend most of our time hearing from them because they have just such great stories. And I want to give you a quick high-level overview of some LinkedIn basics so that you can leave this session ready to take action with your LinkedIn profile and how you use the platform so that you can, like we promised, supercharge your career success. So why does LinkedIn matter? When we think about the scale, and I've been talking about LinkedIn for a long time, and I have to get a new image every time I do a presentation on it, because when I started, which wasn't that many years ago, you know, the numbers were in the 600 million, 700 million. Today, there's over 930 million people in over 200 countries in, you know, all of the regions of the world, right? So you can see here where people are and some of the numbers. And it really is one of these platforms when you hear about the network effect. Of course, with LinkedIn, we're networking, but it's this network effect. The more people who are on the platform, the better it becomes and the more useful. So this just gives you a snapshot, no matter where you are joining from in the world. And I know we have people joining from Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Malawi, where else? I don't know if we have anything else in the chat. You know, everywhere in the world, someone, recruiters, future colleagues, companies, they are on LinkedIn. Why does it really matter, though? First, I want you to treat LinkedIn like as a home for your networking and the network that you're going to build that will last you throughout your career. The people that you're connecting with today, think about it like you're planting seeds, and then in 20 years, 50, 5 years even, you'll have the shade of that relationship serving you. But if you don't start finding relevant people to build your contacts and relationships, you're not going to be able to take advantage of those later on. The next reason why LinkedIn matters, it's such a rich research tool. If you are actively or passively job seeking, LinkedIn is one of the best places you can go to compare what I would say apples to apples. If you're wanting to look for companies that are operating in your industry or in your country, it's just so easy to do it on LinkedIn so that you can compare how big is that company? How many employees do they have? Where are they located? What are some key facts about them? To see it in a uniform way, you can pull up the websites of all of the companies that you're interested in working for. And LinkedIn has, if you look on their LinkedIn company page, it has the people who work at that company. You'll be able to find alumni from your university, including your Nexford alumni. You can see a lot of times they put the life at that company. So if they have employer branding, if they're big enough and are investing in that, you can see. I really encourage you to start looking around and taking a look at some of these company pages so you can see for yourself what information is available. And of course, you can find relevant roles and learn from other professionals in your industry as you continue to grow in your career. And so I'm seeing we have other people from Canada, joining from the Philippines, Kenya, Zambia. This is truly an international webinar. Really great to have everyone here. So thank you to those who are still joining. So we've talked about why LinkedIn matters. I want to get into some real details here about building an effective LinkedIn profile. And I know our alumni, Ryan and Promise, are going to talk about this as well. Sometimes you get on webinars and it's like the advice would be build an effective profile. And I know for myself, I really want to get into the details. What does it mean to have an effective profile? And what does it look like? So when I say an effective profile, I am referring to having a profile and a banner image, the cover photo at the top, updating your URL, which is, and I'll show you a picture of that, the URL address for your profile, and your headline, having a complete about and experience section, updating your education and skills, and then having recommendations from former colleagues, supervisors, and peers. So here, I didn't want to pick a stranger or anybody else, so I'm picking on myself, and I'm just highlighting for you section by section. Again, you will receive a copy of this presentation for those who are attending live, who have registered. So you'll be able to look at this again or watch the recording on YouTube. But first, there's a space for you to add a banner image at the top. I live in Malawi in Southern Africa, so this is a picture of a small lagoon that we have here in Malawi. Some people you can use the banner image that maybe your employer is providing to reinforce your connection to a company. You can go on Canva and they have the size specifications for banner images on LinkedIn. You can create one yourself for free. I recommend having one. It's not a make or break, but it really gives a finished look to your profile. Second, look at your name and your headline. Does your name include any credentials that you have, your MBA? If you already have completed your MBA from Nexford, maybe you have another relevant industry certification that you want to ensure is included so somebody knows. I know Promise can speak to this. He has some of those. For your headline, please, 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 throughout your profile, be careful with looking at and I even found this for myself a couple months ago. I had repeated words 2 times in a row, and I just had not taken the time to proofread. So look at your profile. Are things spelled correctly? Do you have proper capitalization? Do you have consistent spacing between, I have these, I don't know how you actually call it, the hyphens that are vertical in between. Do you have a space on each side so it's not cramped together and hard to read? Whatever you're doing throughout, and I encourage you to give more space rather than less. Be consistent, right? You see I've capitalized every word here, not some letters are capitalized, some are not. Then below, everybody can include hashtags that relate to what you're interested in. Here, I encourage you to think about what are the 3 to 5 words that you want to be associated with for your career, or groupings of words, right? Is it project management? Is it artificial intelligence, sustainability? I just got a little unstable internet, so I hope you can hear me all right. You know, this is what you want over time, people to be associating with you and to find you, how they can find you are using these keywords. In the about section, take a look at people. When you admire somebody's profile, what do you admire about it? And think about how you can replicate that in your own sections. So there's a lot of advice out there about what to include. So I won't go through that in too much detail here, other than I encourage you to have an about section and treat it like what people call an elevator pitch, a 1 minute to 90-second introduction of who you are, what you care about, so that, you know, if somebody were to say, tell me about yourself, they could look to your about section and kind of get that high level understanding of who you are. Next, there's a new section. I encourage everyone, I love following the product team on LinkedIn. So I'm not connected to them. I just follow their profiles who are creating the LinkedIn product. And just last week, they added this new section called Top Skills. So that's new as of maybe a week ago that you can do this. It might be a beta wherever you are. But so if you don't see it as an option, it's okay, it'll come soon. But here again, those are the key skills that you would want a recruiter to potentially find you through. And then finally, you know, in your professional section, do you have the updated avatars? What I mean, the avatars here is like this, like Nexford correct logo, or is it a gray box? Try and go back. Sometimes you type too quickly and it doesn't give it time to load the correct avatar, but make sure you have that correct avatar updated for all your experience sections. And then you can also link media to projects that you've worked on, or blog posts that have been written about you, or you know, about work that you were part of, YouTube videos, anything like that you can upload, which is great because you have a digital portfolio of work that you've been connected to, which is great for during the interview process. And here I just highlighted 3 common things I see when I review LinkedIn profiles that I want to highlight for you, that you can change in the next, you know, the 10 minutes after our webinar. You can make these updates. First is your headline. So everyone, when you create a LinkedIn profile, you get this URL, you know, www.linkedin.com/in/your name, and then a string of random letters and numbers. You can edit that by going to your profile, and if you're on desktop, you can edit that string of letters and numbers so that it's what it looks like on the right, which is just your name, or just your name with your you know, credential letters. This, again, it's like the banner image for your profile. It's not a make or break, but it just gives your profile a cleaner look. That's it. Next, your headline. Sometimes I see people put here, student looking for a job. Okay. What kind of job? In what industry? How can I help you? Use your headline as a space that it doesn't have to be a full sentence. It really can just be these keywords of things that you care about, so that when somebody just sees your connection request come through, they can connect the dots and understand yeah, what it is that you work, where you work in, right? And if there's alignment. And then finally, when you're updating your experience section or your education, please make sure you go through and you're using the official avatar. So on the left, you see this grayed out box. Please, none of that if you can avoid it. And then on the right, we see the correct, you're using the updated logo. Sometimes, again, you just need to go and type it more slowly and just wait, and then the logo will pop up. If there is no LinkedIn page, if it was a very small company, then it's fine, leave it as the avatar, but it just gives your profile a more polished appearance, okay? Here, some networking strategies, and don't worry, I only have a few more minutes before we're going to start talking with Ryan and Promise. I just want to encourage people to connect, follow, and engage with alumni, industry professionals, and thought leaders. And here, you don't have to connect with somebody. You can just quote unquote follow a profile to start seeing their posts show up in your feed. And that's helpful because people start sharing job openings. They share reports that just came out that might be relevant to your industry. And all of that is you're creating your own professional news feed. So think about who you want to be showing up in your life over and over again in a professional sense, and that's who you should be following or connecting with on LinkedIn. I do hold out hope that LinkedIn groups are going to become even more useful. You can find some really groups that have thousands of people in them that are related to your industry or maybe are based in your country. I do encourage you to join those groups. You can message people in groups without being connected to them. So that's something that's very helpful. A reason that people like joining certain groups if they're wanting to build their network and maybe they don't want to just send a random request without sending a message. And then I always recommend when you are connecting with somebody to personalize your connection requests. And then when you connect with somebody, following up in a way that's specific and helpful for the person who's receiving the message. What I mean here is not sending a message saying, "Hi, how are you?" and waiting for them to respond. "Hi, thank you so much for connecting. I'd love to learn more about your career in project management. I see that you worked at XYZ and that's somewhere I would love to work one day. Could you tell me more?" Show people that you have done the work so that they don't have to do the work for you, and understanding why you're reaching out or whatever it is that you're looking for. One thing. Okay. So here I wanted to highlight some specific ways that you can use tools on the platform. And I did screen grabs here. I know it's a little busy, but again, you'll receive a copy of this or can watch the recording to zoom in. Please, there's a use that jobs tool on LinkedIn. I've circled it in red here. The interview prep and job seeker guidance are really wonderful tools that are free. I don't have premium to help you practice your interview questions and to get some quick guidance on your job search strategy, your resume or CV, and so on. Next, turn on notifications. So I have my notebook here where I'm going to take notes during the webinar, but make a list perhaps, and let me just see, of if you have 5 to 10 companies that you want to be working where you would like to work, and then maybe 1 to 2 people at each of those companies who you can see are making posts. They may be making posts with job openings or, again, relevant industry information. If you turn on the notification, then you won't miss when they post, and you can like it, you can comment on it with a thoughtful comment more than something like interesting, but just saying, writing out a thoughtful comment, because that over time builds your connection with the person who's posting. It builds a relationship even virtually. Next, this is a new feature as well. You can follow companies. So that was my advice, is follow companies. But then specifically, if you go to the About section of a company page, you can, for some companies, not all, you can turn on that you are interested. So you click this button that says, I'm interested. That signals to recruiters on the back end that you are actively interested in working in this company, maybe in the future, right? So maybe they don't have an open role right now, but in the future, you could be. Why that's important is because recruiters use LinkedIn to find talent like you, and you are helping them already signpost that you're interested in working there. And then next, how do you find recruiters? So you can put the word recruiter in the top search bar, click on filter for people, and then you can filter for people who are in your country or city or state, and you can even, or you can filter for people who work at a specific company that you want to work at. Again, I don't have premium. You do get capped out at after a certain number of searches per month, but follow those people so that over time, you'll see them sharing job opportunities and you won't miss posts that they're making. If you have any questions about what I've just shared, I know I went quickly because I want to get to our speakers. Please put them in the in the Q&A, and we will cover that in our Q&A section time at the end of the webinar. Without further ado, I want to bring on our honored and esteemed guest speakers. We have Ryan Murray and Promise Hassan, who are both Nexford alumni. They both did their MBA with Nexford, and they, over time, just us being connected on LinkedIn, I have seen how they use the platform. They themselves have said what an asset has been to their career. So let's hear from them, hear more about who they are and how they're using LinkedIn, what they're doing now, and how really LinkedIn has been helpful for them in their careers. So Ryan, I see you, and I think Promise, you're probably coming up in a little bit. But so Ryan, let's get started with you. Could you tell us a little bit more about who you are, what type of work that you do, and then we can launch into how LinkedIn has been helpful for you and your career.
Yes, thank you, Jennifer. I really appreciate the introduction. It's so well said. So just to recap, my name's Ryan Murray, to anyone who's wondering. I am a customer relations manager and a marketing strategist of note. I've studied through Nexford University, and I absolutely loved doing my MBA through Nexford. And just to see how far it has brought me in my career within a short span of 6 months has been incredible. So thank you to Nexford as well. And I have this interesting analogy on how I see Nexford, and I kind of want to share that with everyone. So we usually see these big brands out there and we think, that's a branding thing, that's a marketing thing. But we forget to think of ourselves as people as a brand. And that's where a space like LinkedIn comes in, where you get to showcase your brand. And if you are passionate, let's say you're passionate about sustainability, you need to market yourself on LinkedIn in that regard. You need to be in those sustainability forums. You need to be sharing articles that you find interesting and writing a good caption with it to get people's interest. That's part of your marketing tool that I find I use with LinkedIn. And it's so interesting to bring it to this point. Once you start talking about what you love on LinkedIn, this community and network of people around you just flourishes towards you. And Jennifer has said it so nicely with, you need to have some things in place, like you're about, how should we know you in the professional space? What should I think if I had to go to my own LinkedIn profile? What perception do I want a recruiter or someone else to get of me? Because at the end of the day, your name and your brand, they work hand in hand. And let's say, for example, you want to be top of mind. So if your passion is sustainability, you can then go ahead and say, or not say, but make those frequent posts regarding sustainability, and people automatically make a connection between Ryan and sustainability. And That's the power that you build within your network on LinkedIn. And the minute you become top of mind, then people start remembering you. They start asking, where are you? What are you doing? How can I help you? Are you looking for a job? And you start connecting. And Jennifer said it so well. I see lots of time. Many of the time I see people actually going, hi, how are you on LinkedIn? And then you go, I'm fine. And then the conversation kind of runs dead a little bit. And I always challenge people to say, challenge me, ask me something questions, ask me something difficult or something. And I always say, ask me about my career. Ask me about why I said something on LinkedIn, or just kind of share your opinion just to provoke that conversation a little bit. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to build a network and you want to keep in touch with your network at the end of the day. So that's a great way to start and build your LinkedIn platform.
And Ryan, thank you so much. And the kind word, you're so kind. So thank you for those kind words. I loved when I heard you present before, and you talked a little bit about how actually you use LinkedIn in a way that I think a lot of people wouldn't think to when you started your program at Nexford. So I was curious, could you share that story? Because I think it relates to, of course, someone's academic experience, but it could be professional too.
Oh, yes, I'll happily share that story. I know when I started studying my MBA, it felt very overwhelming within that first month. And you think to yourself, wow, I kind of feel a little bit lonely on this journey. And I knew for myself, I need to find someone that started around the same time as me. And I need to find someone that has experience with Nexford just to give me some comfort to know I'm not alone. And it's amazing how it happened. I actually found someone studying through Nexford that lives 30 kilometers away from me, and I found her on LinkedIn. And we started around the same time. She was able to share her path with Nexford with me. We were able to form a study group, but we were able to just keep in touch to kind of make the process feel less lonelier, because I know while you're studying, it can feel a little bit daunting, but having to share that experience with someone and kind of meeting them through LinkedIn is fantastic. And if it wasn't for LinkedIn, I can promise you I wouldn't have found the friend that I had today. And although we have finished studying at Nexford, we still do keep in contact. We still phone each other, WhatsApp each other, and we expand our networks and share our networks with each other at this stage.
I love that. And I will say, as the person who's overseeing our career services for Nexford, for me, I need people to have their LinkedIn profiles updated because I am always seeing job opportunities or recruitment calls for certain countries or certain types of roles. And what I do on the back end is I search your keywords. So this is why, you found this person on LinkedIn. I want to find other people on LinkedIn, and I can just tag you or, direct message people opportunities. But I use the filters. So people, if you don't have the information in your profile or your location updated, then I don't know how to find you within the platform, right? So as some of you I can see who are on the call, I know you have an updated profile and I've seen it, and I frame it too because you might not be looking for a job, but you certainly know other people who are and maybe want to flag that opportunity for them. And that is what I think LinkedIn is about. It's really a relationship. It's not transactional of what can I get out of Ryan, but it's really more how can we both continue to be helpful to each other. And who knows, maybe one day Ryan will give me a job, or maybe I'll give Ryan a job, vice versa. Or we will just, put the good karma out there in the world and help each other along in our career journeys. So think about that too. I think a lot of times in a job search, and especially when you get on LinkedIn, all you might see are people's posts about, I got a new job, I got a promotion, or I got laid off, I need a job. Think about how in the in-between times that you can use the platform to serve yourself, but to also serve others. Promise, are you able to come on, or maybe are you having some video or audio? Oh, there you are. Okay, cool. Oh, great.
Okay, yeah, very well.
Oh, I'm so glad. Okay, awesome. So, Promise, really happy to have you here. And you and Ryan, I love seeing you both on LinkedIn, and you have, over 12,000 followers. You're super active. So could you tell us a little bit more about who you are, how you use LinkedIn, and how it's served you in your career?
Okay, so it's good to be here today. This is a great pleasure to be here on this platform to share my experience and to share some great insights. I mean, it's a wonderful one. So you've rightly introduced me. I'll just do the honor again to tell people what my name is. Promise Hassan. I'm a project management professional, and I'm also into assets and reliability. So I'll just go straight, and I want to ride on what Ryan said earlier about seeing LinkedIn as an opportunity to tell people about your brand. So as individuals, we need to see ourselves as a brand. LinkedIn is a place where you have more than 930 million users. So what brand or what will they know you for? That's the question. And it's important that we share our expertise. So I'll quickly share my experience. I hope this will resonate with few people. And I hope it will also encourage others to see LinkedIn as a place where you come and shine like a star, if that's the right word to use, right? Okay. So first of all, is the important to know that it is very important that we share our stories. I mean, we cannot have the same stories. As individuals, we will all have different stories. So it's important that we come to LinkedIn to share our stories. So I got my recent job on LinkedIn. That's about 5 years ago. However, the job was not posted on LinkedIn. So it wasn't like there was an opening on LinkedIn. No, it wasn't posted on LinkedIn. However, I am being intentional about building relationship on LinkedIn. So I've met people on LinkedIn who share some information with me. So in the process, I get to meet someone who told me that a company might be recruiting. I might be willing to apply for the job. So we both applied, and we didn't get any feedback until 6 months after the application. 6 months after the application, we got called for the interview. So this emphasized the need that as individuals, we should come to LinkedIn to build a network, to build relationship. We're not just coming to LinkedIn to only look for job. Yes, I understand we want to get job. However, some jobs will not be posted. Some jobs are gotten through referrals. So it is important that we first of all build quality relationship with people. And like Ryan said, when you want to send people message, it is important that you let them know who you are. It is not enough to say hi and allow them to reply. Introduce yourself, tell them what you do, tell them how you think they can benefit from you. And that will foster the relationship. So first of all, it is important to build quality relationship. And how can you build quality relationship? We can build quality relationship by sharing your experience. If you are a thought leader in the areas of marketing, so you want to consistently share information around marketing. If you are a thought leader in the area of accounting, you want to consistently share information around accounting. If you're a thought leader in the area of human resources, you want to consistently share information about human resources, because subconsciously, people know you for something. So when it comes to job posts, what comes to people's mind? Do I think of Jennifer, or do I think of Ryan, or do I think of Promise? This picture stays in their mind because they've seen you do it consistently. So it is important that as individuals, we come to LinkedIn to share our stories. Again, some people will think that, but I don't have anything to share. Well, it's fine. If you don't have anything to share from your experience, you can research a particular topic. Just do your research like we all do for our Nexford program. Do research on a particular topic. Might be about emotional intelligence, might be about AI, might be about IoT, might be about automation or whatever it is. When you share it, post it on LinkedIn. And of course, you want to make reference to whatever your source is so that people understand that this is the source where you get the material from, right? And when you do this consistently, people tend to follow you because they are inspired by whatever you're sharing. They get informed by whatever you're sharing. So first, build a valuable network. Second, the importance to share information. The information might be personal research, might be from your field of expertise. Thirdly, like Jennifer mentioned earlier, is the need for you to connect and engage with others. So when people drop a post, you do not want to flip through the post. If you found something inspiring about the post, you want to drop a comment in the session that you find it inspiring and you're looking forward to learning more from such ones. And it's also very important, like Jennifer rightly mentioned, that all the information on our profile are quite updated. Something I really find very interesting about LinkedIn is the fact that there's a recommendation page. So if you have worked with people before and you deliver well on this project, ask them to write you a recommendation. If you've run a program or a course with your colleagues before and it was fun, it was interesting learning together with them, ask them to write you a recommendation. Interestingly, my research shows that 61 million people search for jobs on LinkedIn every week. So it means that apparently most of us are on LinkedIn to probably get a job or to get something better. However, sometimes the job will not come directly. We need to build relationship first. And that's why the mission of LinkedIn is that they want to connect the world of professionals together to make them more successful and productive. So anytime you come to LinkedIn, ask yourself, what do I have to offer to the world? Do it consistently and share insightful information. I'm sure people will be willing to follow you. And if an HR sees your profile, what's reaching out to, they will definitely reach out and ask if you're open to be engaged for better opportunities.
Thank you so much, Promise. I love hearing about your passion for LinkedIn and the, specific guidance that you have. And I love especially what you say, you said sometimes somebody on the call here might think about themselves, I'm not a thought leader in this space. I'm not an influencer. You are in your own way, right? And you don't have to have a title of being a thought leader. You don't have to be a professional public speaker. Honestly, I have known people's lives to just completely change from somebody resharing a post that had a job opening that otherwise somebody might not have seen. So if you are happily employed right now, if you like where you work, an easy way to engage on the platform, especially if you're like, oh, I don't want to use LinkedIn too much because maybe my employer is going to think I'm looking for a job. Talk about your employer, your current one, right? Share job openings so people see that. It reinforces your employer's brand, which is a win. And then if it's a good company, it reinforces your connection to that company. For example, Promise, he's worked at Unilever, Procter & Gamble, Kimberly-Clark. I mean, these are all amazing companies. And so, sharing, even sometimes you could look back and say, like, where did I work before? What are some job openings? Do a little roundup. Think about how you can, again, be generous to other people if you're happily employed. And if you're looking, use LinkedIn to ask for help, right? If you're unemployed right now and you are not connected to an employer, so it's okay, you can make a post saying, I'm looking for a job. Be specific with people. Hey, and even even LinkedIn has a prompt so that you can ask your network for specific help. I'm looking for these types of roles. Or you can make a post and say, I'm new to the platform and I want to follow some interesting voices here. Who would you recommend I follow if I want to learn about project management, sustainability, and insert your keyword, right? We have so many great questions coming in on the Q&A. So I just want to make sure we give time to that. But so if you are having questions come up, please do add those into the Q&A so that we can cover them. I will go ahead. So let's jump into the Q&A. So someone is asking about, how do you put the video feature in your bio and add it as a profile picture? I have done that on mobile. I don't know if you can do it through desktop. This is where the user experience can be a little different on desktop and mobile for LinkedIn. But I know from mobile, you can go there and it gives you the option to upload a video. So I think you can just record it on your phone or computer and then upload it to your profile when you click on your profile image. So good question. So someone says, and Ryan and Promise would love to have your input on some of these. So my second question, how often should I do the following? Revamp my about section, make engaging posts. Is there a particular number of posts I should make per week? Promise, I know you're especially active in posting. What do you think? How often are you posting? How often are you, both of you, looking at your profile and tweaking it? But yeah, Promise, what about the posting schedule? What do you think? I can't hear you, maybe. Let's see. I think Promise is going to come back in a moment. But around posting, I think here, again, this is where it can be a little intimidating for people because you might think, oh my gosh, I need to make a post every
I personally
day.
post twice.
Oh, there you go. I'm sorry. Okay, you're back,
Hello?
Promise. Go ahead, Promise.
Okay. So first of all, there are no rules to posting. There are no rules to posting. Do as it pleases you, right? If you want to post every day, it is fine. If you want to post twice in a week, it is fine. If you want to post weekly, it is fine. There are no rules to posting, okay? Secondly, is that about your bio, if you want to tweak your bio, my recommendation is that you can do it. You've done a new certification or you've done a new course. Secondly, if you've completed a new project and you want the world to know that you've done a new project successfully, you can do project, you've done a new course, you've done a new certification, or you've gotten a new job. You can, you might want to track it so that your connection on LinkedIn will see what new stocks you're bringing on the table. But for posting, you just want to do it as it pleases you, right? However, you also want to build an anticipation for your audience so that they look forward to reading from you. They want to read your thoughts on some subject matters. However, you also need to be careful that you don't post randomly. So what I mean by posting randomly is you are a supply chain expert, right? So today you post things that are related to supply chain. Then tomorrow you post something entirely different. So sometimes you make your audience confused. What exactly are you good at? So if you want to post about supply chain management, for example, you want to be consistent at it. You don't want to do something today, then tomorrow you do something different. So even if an HR is seeing your post, the HR is confused. Are you a supply chain expert, or you're a comedian or something? So you want to ensure that you're being consistent with the subject matter that you're posting about. And also take note that when you're making posts, I recommend that you add an image to it. A research on LinkedIn shows that when you post with an image, you're likely to get ×2 of traction on your post. So if you want to make a post, you can download an image from Google. You can post your picture, maybe at work or something. You just want to attach a picture to it. But if you're also posting a picture, you do well to acknowledge the source of the picture, right? I hope that helps.
That's great. Ryan, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yes, I just wanted to latch on to what Promise was saying, and I completely agree with him. It's about making it relevant to your audience. I always say try and refrain from posting anything that deviates from your brand. Because I would say LinkedIn is not the place to say, I just had lunch with so and so and a photo of your lunch. I would keep that away from LinkedIn. But if you have a thought provoking or you have an opinion you want to share, by all means, there is no criteria of you have to post once a year, once a month, or once a day. So do what you are comfortable with at the end of the day. So that would be my advice.
That's great. This next one is not a question, but it's in our Q&A, and I really appreciate the person who shared it, Chimetzi. Thank you. It says, this person said they grew their following from 500 to over 7,000 by really engaging with posts with thoughtful comments. And it really works because people want to know more about you. They get curious. And I love this suggestion. Again, you don't need to write a dissertation as a comment on someone's post. And this is an opportunity for you to show up in other people's news feeds as being connected to, or someone who provides thoughtful comments related to a certain topic. And I tell you, over time, the people who are making the posts recognize it. Even somebody who has 200,000 followers, they over time are going to recognize, oh yeah, Promise is always making a really thoughtful post. Now Promise maybe reaches out and says, hey, I saw a job opening that you're connected to. Would you be, and I applied. I just wanted to let you know. They are going to remember over time, Promise is somebody who has contributed to my community and, whatever topic area it is. So keep that in mind. Over time, this is not a get rich quick scheme here. This is a really long-term strategy, but within 3 to 6 months, definitely a year, you can build up a really relevant community of people around you in whatever industry that you are focused on. So thank you for reinforcing that. Unfortunately, the next question is about LinkedIn passwords. We are not LinkedIn, so we cannot help with that. And for people who are looking on tips for updating your LinkedIn profile, you will get a copy of the recording of our YouTube recording. So please go back to the beginning of the session and take a look at that. Someone here is asking about, you mentioned searching out Nexford learners, students they're wondering how to include Nexford on your profile when they're still studying. So here, you don't have to mislead people that you already have your degree. People have it on there, started January 2023, and then the expected end date, March 2024. So then if I look at your profile, I can tell you don't already have your MBA, you're currently pursuing it. And then when you have it, you can either remove the date or you can put May 2023, and then somebody can see that's in the past. So really good question. You can also go to the Nexford page, and I'll just show you all what I mean here real quick. The Nexford University LinkedIn page, and you can click on the alumni. So you have home, my employer. Am I sharing the right? Can you see my screen? Can you see my Nexford University screen? Ryan
Yes.
and Promise.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So here, you can see home. Since it's my employer, I see my employer, about, posts, jobs, and then alumni. And then here, we have over 4,000 alumni. You can put your keyword in here. I could find everyone who's related to product management or whatever it is, hit enter, and then those alumni will show up. So great question. And I will just wanted to flag that because it's something that comes up a lot on how to find other people. So we have, I'm trying to see here. It looks like we have a recruiter. We might need to bring somebody on live, pull you up into the session. So it's in the chats, Maricon, it says, as a global recruiter, it's also good to add a note every time we connect on LinkedIn to personalize the invite with a brief description of what we do and that we're willing to support the network now or in the future. So that's great. Everyone should be connecting with Maricon there. Thank you. So I think that covered a lot of our live questions. There's one that I think we can't cover in this session because I need more time to read it. But Ryan and Promise, before we wrap up, is there anything else that you wanted to share about your experience with LinkedIn that we didn't cover or that I didn't ask as a question?
Okay. So let me just add this. There are about 40,000 skills that are listed on LinkedIn, right? So it means that we live in an era where your skills are very important, right? So either you currently have an MBA from Nexford or you're looking forward to having your MBA. It's also very important that we build skills that are necessary for the future, right? So LinkedIn gives an opportunity for about 40,000 skills. So you can check it out. How do I learn some of these skills? And the good thing is when you learn some of those skills and maybe you completed a training or a course on LinkedIn, so you can add it to your profile. You can add it to your portfolio. Some of their trainings actually comes when you are a premium, when you're a premium member. However, if you also want to try the premium, maybe 1 month premium that they give for free, it gives you an opportunity to learn some of the skills, and you can definitely add it to your profile. So that's just what I wanted to add. Research also shows that 72% of content marketers indicates that they get leads, they get organic leads from LinkedIn. So, I mean, LinkedIn is a platform that we all want to use for a personal brand. Take note that as individuals, we stand alone as a brand, apart from the fact that you're working in an organization. You are a brand on your own, and we should see ourselves as a brand. Anytime you come to LinkedIn, you want to sell yourself, you want people to know you as a brand and what you stand for.
We're going to have another session with you, Promise, on personal branding. Ryan,
Okay.
take it away. What
Yes.
else would you like to leave your words of wisdom with folks?
So I think we're all forgetting something. If you're a student at Nexford, you get access to LinkedIn courses for free, and you can do as many courses as you want. And you can add that to your LinkedIn profile, and it looks absolutely amazing. So don't forget about that. And please do try the LinkedIn courses. I've done a few and they are amazing. My last sentiments to leave you with are enjoy it. Have fun while you're posting on LinkedIn, and feel free to connect with Promise and myself. We're more than happy to help you or connect you along or introduce you to our networks. And also, if you want to connect afterwards to say, I really liked the presentation, please do connect with Promise and myself. I'm sure we're happy to connect with you and start expanding our network at the end of the day. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity, Jennifer. I really think we need more time for the next one.
I know we need a longer one. There's so much to cover. And so really it's scratching the surface. And what I love about webinars like this is that I really do hope people connect with you or follow you, because you're consistently, and I am constantly learning from our Nexford learners and alumni that I follow or am connected with on LinkedIn, who are introducing me to new ways of thinking, new industry trends. And that's the beauty of it, is that over time, we're continuing to learn from each other. It doesn't end here. With that in mind, I love to take a moment at the end of the webinar for us to just think about what's something you're going to do after this webinar to really cement your learning. What's an action you're going to take, or something that you appreciated learning during the session. So I have my notebook here. I've already written down some ideas. I'd love, if people want to share in the chat, I'd love to hear what, so someone's going to update their LinkedIn profile, and that's great. I hope that some of the tips are helpful for how you can tweak it. Other people are going to connect with other alumni, always a good idea. We have a lot of recruiters in our network. I love finding our Nexford recruiters who can, send opportunities to our network. People are going to add new skills, especially for people who are already Nexford University learners. You have access to LinkedIn Learning through the program. Someone already has updated their LinkedIn profile. That's headline. That's awesome. Take a look at their about section. That's Ryan. Thank you. And that's wonderful. So thank you to everybody. I saw one of the questions about remote work, and I just wanted to take the time to flag. We have 2 really great webinars happening next week. One is a virtual tour. So if you're not already a Nexford learner or an alumni, you can get a feel for what our learning environment is really like. We have one of our faculty who will be there, and other Nexford learners and alumni, and one of our application specialists. If you've registered, you'll get a link to this presentation, and within the email, there'll be a link to register. And then this is going to be huge. We have Caleb Maru, who runs this incredible newsletter called Tech Safari, which focuses on African tech. And he is going to be speaking with another Nexford alumni who works remotely for Microsoft. So if you are curious about how to land a remote job, if you're interested in how to land a job in tech, whether it's remote or not, or maybe even better yet, both, you don't want to miss this webinar happening next week, landing a job in tech and building a remote career. Caleb is phenomenal. If you're looking for someone who shares interesting stuff on LinkedIn, he's definitely someone you want to follow. We really are a big fan of him here at Nexford. That is the end of our session. So again, my name is Jennifer Bongura. I'm Nexford University's Director of Career Innovation. Maybe you're going to make a LinkedIn post after this. If you have registered for this session, you will get links to register for the webinars happening next week. I can't wait to see you again soon, hopefully online, maybe in person. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you so much to our guests, Ryan and Promise, for making the time. We are so honored to have you as part of our Nexford community. So thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Have a fantastic day. And
Thank
thank you
you
for everyone for being here.
Thank you. Bye.